The price of greatness. Why most people never become who they could be. There comes a moment in every human life when the mirror stops lying. Not the mirror made of glass, but the one hidden behind your eyes. The one that reflects not your face, but your future. The one that asks the question that has shattered cowards and awakened kings. Who are you becoming? Not who were you yesterday. Not who the world told you to be. Not who your circumstances have forced you to resemble. But who, in the deepest chambers of your soul, were you designed to become? Because buried beneath your excuses, beneath your fears, beneath the years of compromise and conformity, there is another version of you waiting. A stronger version, a wiser version, a richer version. A version so powerful that if you met them today, you would barely recognize them. And that is precisely why so many people spend their entire lives running. They are not afraid of failure. They are afraid of their own potential. Failure is familiar. Mediocrity is comfortable. Average asks nothing of you. It allows you to sleep. It allows you to drift. It allows you to blame. But greatness? Greatness demands a price. It asks for your old identity. It requires the death of excuses. It insists that you abandon the safety of the shore and sail into waters where only the brave survive. Napoleon Hill understood this truth when he spent 20 years studying the greatest minds of his age. He discovered that success is not an accident, nor a matter of luck, nor the exclusive property of the privileged. Success is the direct result of thought fused with desire, organized by faith, and executed through relentless action. The world you see around you was first built in the invisible workshop of someone's mind. Every skyscraper, every company, every fortune, every movement, every invention that reshaped civilization began as an idea so fragile it could have been destroyed by a single moment of doubt. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before the light bulb illuminated the darkness. Henry Ford was ridiculed before the automobile transformed transportation. Walt Disney was fired for lacking imagination before he built kingdoms out of dreams. Abraham Lincoln suffered defeat after defeat before leading a fractured nation through its darkest hour. History does not remember the comfortable. It remembers the committed, and the same law that governed their ascent governs yours. Your outer world will always reflect your inner world. If your mind is confused, your life will be chaotic. If your beliefs are weak, your actions will be timid. If your vision is small, your results will remain small. The harvest cannot exceed the seed. This is why everything begins in the mind. Your mind is not merely a container for thoughts. It is a factory, a broadcasting station, a magnet. It attracts what it consistently dwells upon. It builds what it repeatedly pictures. It becomes what it continuously rehearses. A mind saturated with fear manufactures limitation. A mind obsessed with possibility manufactures opportunity. And make no mistake, the world is always listening. Not to your words, to your dominant thoughts. Because thoughts become beliefs. Beliefs become actions. Actions become habits. Habits become character. Character becomes destiny. That chain has forged emperors and beggars alike. You cannot entertain weakness and expect strength to emerge. You cannot rehearse defeat and perform victory. You cannot plant weeds and pray for roses. The mind obeys the images you feed it. So, ask yourself honestly, what pictures have you been projecting onto the screen of your subconscious? Are you visualizing triumph or replaying disaster? Are you constructing a cathedral or digging your own grave? The subconscious mind is fertile soil. It does not care whether you plant diamonds or poison. It accepts whatever you repeatedly impress upon it. That is why the wealthy often become wealthier, while the defeated sink deeper into despair. It is not merely external conditions. It is internal programming. The man who believes he can and the man who believes he cannot are both correct. Belief is not wishful thinking. It is mental architecture. It is the blueprint from which reality is constructed. Andrew Carnegie did not begin as a titan of industry. He began as a poor immigrant boy with a burning vision. But that vision, held with unwavering conviction, became stronger than circumstance. It became stronger than obstacles. It became stronger than reality itself, until reality had no choice but to conform. That is the power of definite purpose. A scattered mind creates a scattered life. A focused mind bends the world. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they lack direction. They drift from job to job, idea to idea, year to year, hoping that clarity will somehow arrive uninvited. It never does. Clarity is not found. Clarity is forged. The universe does not emerges when a person decides, with absolute certainty, what they want and why they must have it. You are vague intentions. It responds to precision. I want to be successful means nothing. Successful at what? By when? For whom? At what cost? The man who says, I will build an empire that serves millions, creates generational wealth, and transforms my family forever, has already separated himself from the masses. Because decision is power. Indecision is theft. Every day you postpone commitment, you rob your future. Every hour spent wavering is an hour surrendered to those who act. The world belongs to the decisive. And once your purpose becomes clear, discipline becomes inevitable. People often ask for motivation when what they truly need is identity. Motivation fluctuates. Discipline endures. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. A lion does not need motivation to hunt. Hunting is in its nature. When excellence becomes part of your identity, discipline ceases to feel like punishment. It becomes expression. The alarm clock is no longer an enemy. It is a summons. The gym is no longer suffering. It is preparation. The work is no longer burdensome. It is worship. Every action either confirms your new identity or strengthens your old one. There is no neutral. Each day, you cast votes for the person you are becoming. And greatness is never won in grand gestures alone. It is earned in the unseen moments. When no one is watching. When applause is absent. When comfort calls your name. That is where champions are separated from spectators. Because the public sees the victory. They do not see the mornings. They do not see the sacrifices. They do not see the lonely hours, the rejected proposals, the failed experiments, the doubts conquered in silence. But those invisible moments are where destiny is negotiated.
Greatness has always been an inside job. Before the crowd can cheer for you, you must first learn to applaud yourself in the darkness. Before the world can believe in your vision, you must believe when there is no evidence, no applause, no guarantee. Only an unshakable conviction burning in your chest like a furnace. Faith is not the denial of reality. Faith is the refusal to be imprisoned by it. When the Wright brothers announced that man would fly, intelligent people laughed. When Alexander Graham Bell spoke of transmitting voices across wires, critics dismissed him. When Elon Musk declared reusable rockets were possible, experts called it fantasy. Every revolutionary idea appears absurd before it becomes obvious. That is the burden of vision. You must often walk alone before others recognize the road. And if you cannot endure temporary loneliness, you will never experience extraordinary achievement. The masses seek consensus, leaders create it. They understand a truth that escapes most people. The crowd is almost always late. The crowd celebrates only after the risk has been taken, after the blood has been spilled, after the mountain has been climbed. Do not wait for permission. Do not seek validation from those who have never dared to attempt what you pursue. A man drowning in his own limitations cannot teach you how to swim across oceans. Protect your mind. Guard your vision. Be ruthless about what you allow into the sacred territory of your consciousness. Because doubt is contagious, negativity is infectious, and proximity is power. You will inevitably become like the voices you hear most often, the books you read most consistently, and the people you spend your days beside. If you surround yourself with small thinkers, do not be surprised when your dreams begin to shrink. If you live among cynics, your optimism will slowly suffocate. Environment is invisible architecture. It shapes you while you sleep. That is why Napoleon Hill called the fire ignites fire. Ambition multiplies ambition. Seek those who challenge your excuses, elevate your standards, and force you to confront the gap between who you are and who you could become. A single conversation can alter the trajectory of a lifetime. A single mentor can save you 10 years. A single partnership can build an empire. No one ascends alone. But even with the right allies, the road will test you. It must. A sword is not forged in warm water. It is hammered, heated, and hardened under unbearable pressure. And so are you. Adversity is not your enemy. It is your initiation. The obstacle is not blocking the path. The obstacle is the path. Every setback carries a seed. Every defeat contains instruction. Every failure offers tuition. The question is never whether you will face hardship. The question is whether hardship will refine you or define you. Consider Colonel Sanders, rejected over 1,000 times before someone believed in his recipe. Consider J.K. Rowling, writing in poverty while the world ignored her. Consider Steve Jobs, fired from the company he founded, only to return and transform it into one of the greatest enterprises in history. Their pain did not destroy them. It introduced them to themselves. And that is the hidden gift of struggle. Comfort conceals character. Pressure reveals it. Anyone can feel confident when conditions are favorable. Anyone can act boldly when success is certain. But can you persist when the evidence contradicts your vision? Can you continue when progress is invisible? Can you maintain your standards when no reward is immediate? That is resilience. That is power. That is the dividing line between those who dream and those who dominate. The oak tree does not curse the storm. It deepens its roots. Likewise, every challenge you overcome expands your capacity. Every problem solved increases your competence. Every scar earned becomes proof that you can survive what once seemed impossible. You must earn it. You earn it by keeping promises to yourself, by doing what you said you would do, long after the excitement has faded, by honoring commitments when nobody would know if you broke them. Integrity is self-trust in action, and self-trust is the foundation of personal power. Without it, ambition collapses. With it, technology evolves. Industries collapse. Entire business models vanish overnight. The rigid break. The flexible endure. And endurance, over time, defeats brilliance without persistence. Talent is overrated. Consistency is unstoppable. A mediocre plan executed relentlessly will outperform a perfect plan abandoned prematurely. The river carves through stone not because of force, but because of persistence. Become the river,